Hi, I'm Adam Drake from Mugen Seiki Racing, and today I'm going to talk about spec tire racing, what I think some of the pros and cons are of having spec tire races, and some tips if you attend races where they're using spec tires. So recently I attended the Pro Line Shootout at Thornhill Racing Circuit in Hutto, Texas. The spec tire for that event was the Pro Line M3 Buckshots. And the nice thing with using the buckshot tire was, even though it was a spec tire, you had a few options. So with the buckshot, you have the standard pins on one side and a more connected pin that kind of becomes a rib on the other side. So if the track gets really high grip and grabby, you can run the rib or connected pins on the outside. If it's dusty, you can run the traditional pins on the outside to help cut the dust. But what was really, really cool about this event is it allowed you to just show up, you knew exactly what tires you were going to run, and then you tuned your car to those conditions and as the track changed or grooved up. One of the things with everyone at the race running the same compound tire was it seemed to make the groove actually a lot higher grip than normal. A lot of the races that we go to nowadays, as the groove kind of starts to come up, it becomes more of like a polished blue groove. And I think a lot of that is because there's so many different tire manufacturers with different types of rubber, and when that rubber is getting laid down, it's just not as consistent as when we all use the same tire. So that was something that was really good at Thornhill. Like I said, we used an M3 buckshot, and early on when the track was damp, M3 was awesome. The concern that a lot of us had throughout the race was, as the track dried out and grooved up and we had longer mains, was that M3 was going to be too soft. And again, because the groove had so much grip and stayed consistent throughout the race because of us all using the same compound, M3 actually worked really well, even though it was 100 degrees out and the track was really dry and grooved up. One thing that I did do, and as well as a number of other drivers at Thornhill with running M3s in that kind of heat, was we actually glued the insert to the wheel. And what that did was it keeps the foam insert from shifting and moving, so it makes the carcass of the tire seem a little bit stiffer and more stable. So some of the concerns or cons to having a spec tire race would be you may be sponsored by or run for a different company than who's putting on that spec tire event. And you know, that's fine if you choose to not support it because it's maybe a company that you're not comfortable or used to those tires, but overall it's a really, really enjoyable event when you can just show up, you know, everyone, all of your competitors are on the same tire, you're on an equal playing field. And you know, it just comes down to tuning your car to the best of your ability on the tires that everyone is on. Another con to having spec tire racing is manufacturers work as hard as they can to develop products that are better and set themselves apart from the competition. So if we have nothing but spec tire races, that will be difficult for manufacturers to continue to push the limits, develop new compounds, develop new tread patterns. So I think we need to have a balance of both. I think we need to have the majority of the major races open tires. That way the manufacturers can battle it out, bring the best that they have, and try to push the envelope and develop new products to beat their competition. But again, overall, it was super enjoyable doing the Pro Line Shootout at Thornhill Racing Circuit, and I hope that we see more spec tire events in the future. I do want to have also plenty of open tire races, but I think for some of the lower classes, the sportsman guys, you know, maybe we could have spec tires for them to make it a little bit easier and affordable for them.